When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock straight in the face during the Oscars last year, he had no idea Netflix would pay Chris $40 million and that he would be back with a comeback. Though Chris has been silent for so long, he's finally spoken up in his new show, which insults Will more than he ever did during the Oscars. And to add to the drama, Will Smith has finally spoken back on this matter. Is he going to sue Chris Rock? Stay with us till the end to find out. In case you didn't know the backstory, it started when Rock joked about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, having a bald head during last year's Oscar ceremony. However, Jada used to shave due to alopecia, so Will Smith couldn't handle it when Rock made the joke about someone so dear to him, especially his wife. Smith, who later won Best Actor for that performance, stormed on stage and smacked Rock in the face during the broadcast, and the slap went viral more than the Oscars. After the incident, Will was banned from attending the Oscars for the next 10 years. This is pretty heartbreaking for all the Will Smith fans out there, but it is what it is, guys. Just a few days later, Rock had to do a show in Boston, but he did not talk about the slap at all. Instead, he said, "I'm still kinda processing what happened. At some point, I'll talk about that shit. It will be serious and funny." And it looks like that moment is finally here. Chris Rock finally responded to Will Smith's punch on the Academy Awards stage a year later in a powerful stand-up special that was live streamed on Netflix. The comedian boasted that he took that hit like Pacquiao. On Saturday night, the 54-year-old comic gave his first stand-up performance since the Oscars in a much-anticipated follow-up with all the anticipation and more of a Manny Pacquiao prize fight. Netflix made its live streaming debut with the Chris Rock Selective Outrage broadcast live from Baltimore's Hippodrome Theater. But it was also a much-needed comic rebuttal to the infamous Academy Awards. Rock spoke out about the incident at the Oscars in 2022 during the final 10 minutes of his performance. The Grown Ups actor did not hold back as he unleashed a barrage of insults directed at Will Smith. The comedian made fun of the couple's relationship problems and brought up Smith's broken marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith. "You all know what happened to me, getting smacked by Shuck Smith. Everyone knows. Everybody fucking knows. Yes, it happened. I got smacked. A year ago, I got slapped at the fucking Oscars by this motherfucker. And people are like, did it hurt? It still hurts. I got summertime ringing in my ears. But I'm not a victim. You'll never see me on Oprah or Gayle crying." He continued saying, "I took that hit like Pacquiao. I took it like motherfucking Pacquiao. Did it hurt? Yeah, motherfucker, it hurt." After joking about how the slap affected him, Chris Rock continued to diss Will Smith on the fact that Jada cheated on him despite him slapping Chris for her. His wife was fucking his son's friend, okay? I normally would not talk about this shit, but for some reason, they put that shit on the internet. I have no idea why two talented people would do something that low down. What the fuck? After this, he even trashed Will by saying his wife hurt him more than Chris ever did on the show. He said, "Everyone in here has been cheated on. None of us have ever been interviewed by the person that cheated on us on television. She hurt him way more than he hurt me." During the talk, Chris also talked about how he tried to call Will to give him condolences and that Will never picked up. Did you know that Rock got the show's name as an inspiration from the slap? He said, "Will Smith practices selective outrage. Everyone knows what the fuck happened, and everyone really knows I had nothing to do with that shit. I didn't have any entanglements," referring to Jada's affair while in a relationship with him. Well, I guess selective outrage does make a lot of sense now. However, the best part of the show would have to have been the ending where Rock said, "I loved Will Smith. My whole life I loved him. I saw him open for Run DMC. He has made some great movies. I've rooted for Will Smith my whole life, and now I watch Emancipation just to see him get whooped." After this, he said that he didn't take revenge then and there because I got parents, because I was raised, and you know what my parents taught me? Don't fight in front of white people. Saying this, he dropped the mic to the ground, and this was such a banger. Given that the comedian finally spoke up against Will Smith's slapping incident at the 2022 Oscars, Chris Rock's most recent Netflix special has generated a lot of excitement. Fans have loved this show, and Chris Rock seems to be on fire. According to sources, the comedian reportedly received a whopping $40 million for the two Netflix specials, or $20 million per performance. The second installment of the deal, Chris Rock Selective Outrage, was published in 2023 after the first comedy special, Chris Rock Tambourine, debuted back in 2018. Chris Rock is a beloved actor and director, and his remarkable stand-up makes him comic royalty. There is no one like him, and Netflix offers a global platform and creative freedom that will serve as a perfect home for someone with his incredible talent, said Netflix Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos. Now comes the main question. What is Will's stand on all of this? Not only did he become hated worldwide for slapping a comedian, but the person he stood up for is also ditching him. Man, it must be so hard what Will is going through. Ever since the slap happened, Will has reportedly talked about it publicly on various occasions. Even the next day following the slap, he quickly jumped on Instagram and said, "I was out of line and I was wrong. I'm embarrassed and my actions are not indicative of the man I want to be." He said that months after he had tried reaching out to Chris several times, but he never responded. Now, after selective outrage, let's look at what Will has had to say. Some of the sources told ET, Will is embarrassed and hurt by what Chris has said about him and his family in the Netflix special. He didn't watch it, but he has had people tell him what Chris said. It's everywhere when you look online and on social media, so Will and Jada have seen comments about it. The source then added, Will apologized to Chris and would like for Chris to let it go. Will has worked on himself and is banned from the Oscars for 10 years. He feels like that's enough and wants Chris to move on so that he and everyone else can too. Will is also upset that Netflix was part of this and thinks Chris insulting Jada again is below the belt. He is upset that Netflix gave Chris the platform to share these messages and thinks that it's distasteful. In an apology video that Will Smith posted in July 2022, he addressed the situation with the Madagascar voice actor. He said, "I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I've reached out to Chris and the message came back that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he'll reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk." Will Smith also talked about how he realized the slap's impact on people. He said, "I saw an interview that his mother did. That's one of the things about the moment I didn't realize. I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment? So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock, Chris's younger brother. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. This is probably irreparable." He then concluded the video by saying, "I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the complexities and nuances of what happened. I'm not going to try and unpack all of that right now, but I can say to you, there was no part of me that thought that was the right way to behave in that moment." A little later, after Smith was banned from the Oscars, he resigned from the Academy, issuing a public statement that said, "My actions at the 94th Academy Awards presentation were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. The list of those I've hurt and is long and includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends and loved ones, all those in attendance, and global audiences at home. I betrayed the trust of the Academy. I deprived the other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. I am heartbroken." But aside from the source statements, we don't know where Will stands on the subject. So what do you think, folks? Was it right of Chris Rock to slam Will publicly in this talk show? Do you think Will Smith will make a comeback to this? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see y'all in another video. Goodbye.